Today's episode is about, are you happy poor or are you happy rich, or are you poor sad or you poor happy? Okay, something along that line lah. You're listening to
Jom Sembang, Malaysia.
Okay, so at this topic, right, Ju, when I first started working, all my friends have chose the job based on salary. While I chose my job based on what I want to do.
Still happens, yes.
Yeah. And then as we go along, I realized that especially if you're working in the bank. So I used to work in the bank, okay? So in the bank, what happened is every time you change job to another bank, you should have an increment of 10-20%, otherwise you don't go.
Correct.
So there was a trend, there was one period of time that all my banking friends every 2 year jump so that they can get 20% increase, 20%. By the time of 5 years, they are like 100% increase.
Okay.
Yeah. So normally, but bank also have this thing where they lock you down for 1 year or 2 year every time you jump.
Okay.
So it's not like you can jump within 3 months, that kind of 20% lah, okay? It's really 2-3 years because it's called buy-in. They just buy you in for 2-3 years.
And then they have all the training and everything.
Correct. Yeah, so I have friends who are like really soaring in terms financially of their career. And then you have me who's like, I wouldn't say not soaring lah, okay? There's a different kind of soaring lah.
Okay.
But I remember having this conversation with my friend where they say, hey, we have a lot of money, like not in this direct word lah, okay? We can earn enough to afford a lot of things. We can have Gucci and 3 tea life cups a day or whatever is it.
I don't think they take tea.
Starbucks, okay? And here I going for the cheapest coffee, and yet they will ask me, how is it that you always sound or look or feel happier and lighter than them? Have you ever experienced that?
Question. No, they don't ask me that. But definitely I do think of, especially when you talk about minimum wage and the starting salary for fresh grads now, and I'm thinking,
fresh grad salary is my salary now.
Yeah, how come after 20 years? You know, and then I start to compare. So when I do my taxes, right? Sometimes I'll calculate at the end of the year and I'm like, okay lah, not bad lah. Actually not bad lah. Or there are some years I like, okay lah, not less than the fresh grad, you know. But then hey, I've been doing this for 20 years. But I do feel that there are those people who work to earn the money, and then with that money, they do whatever they want to do when they're not working, right? And then there are those of us who do what we want to do full time.
Okay. Which
doesn't always commensurate with money. But hey, most of the time we're doing what we want to do, right? So I don't have to wait to do what I want to do lah.
True.
Yeah.
So I have some friends who are like, okay, they are earning a lot of money, and then they're having the kind of lifestyle that they want.
Yes.
As in, they can buy the house they want to buy, the car they want to buy, and everything. And yet, they don't have time or mental space to do what they like to do. I think that itself was, quite a conversation that I have with my friends lah. Because for me, it's like, you got money, but your money cannot buy time one.
Yeah, so there's this joke, right, where they say, this very rich man went on a holiday, and then he talked to the fisherman, you know, and then he was saying, oh, what do you do? So, I mean, the fisherman asked, what do you do? And they said, I work in this office. And then overtime, so I'm very stressed. Then I got holiday. Then I can come and, you know, it's like, then the fisherman like him, like, so you do all that so that you can come fishing on your free time? Like, I get to just fish my whole life. It's like, you know, without being on that rat race lah. And it does make a lot of sense. But
there was also this story. I'll let you finish your butt first.
Yeah, never mind, you tell your story.
So this story was also this fisherman.
Okay.
The fisherman's like fish. So maybe every day, 1 bucket full. Okay, then immediately someone, hey, you fish 2 buckets, then you can get a better boat. Okay, so he started to fish 2 buckets full. Then he come home every day. Then he changed from the boat to a ship, to 10 sheep, to a big fishing company.
Right.
And then after that, he find himself not fishing anymore because he has to run the company.
Yes.
And after that, defeats the purpose because he has all the achievement of the world. At the end of the day, the story ended with he sold everything so that he can sit down there and just fish how many I like to survive for that day because it makes me happy. So that itself sounds like a whole, lah.
But do you remember when we went to, where was that? Sabah, somewhere up north. And the guy was, it's a fishing village. And the guy was telling us how they fish. And you know, when I think fish, it has the big net.
Correct.
Or it has the big thing where the fish,
the pukal.
Yeah, and then they just pull. And then we found out this guy just used a 1-string thing.
Single rod,
1 fish at a time. And they look so happy. Then I remember asking that guy, I said, so, because he was eating fish, right? So I said, how do you decide which fish you eat and which fish you sell? He said, I sell the expensive fish lah. This one's still nice, what I eat, I still happy. Yeah, so happy, is that happy poor? And who's to say they are poor?
Yeah. I always tell myself, right? Like I always tell my friends nowadays, okay, I'm happy poor, but not like super poor, begging poor, but poor in the, I might have to think twice if I need to treat myself. But other than that, I'm fine. Like,
Yeah, I mean, in the bank account, maybe they are poorer than me, probably. Actually, I wouldn't know. But in terms of, what's the word? Happiness, what? Life happiness? There's a thing, right? There's a thing where you are, your country punya happiness level.
Okay, yeah.
That thing.
Finland is the happiest or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, these guys might be quite high up the list.
Okay, so maybe after a break, we come back and share about, are you really content being happy poor? Today's episode is brought to you by
Voxfest Malaysia.
If you're a singer-songwriter or you're a vocalist looking to release a new song and it's your first time,
Or even if you have recorded a few singles yourself,
this is the masterclass for you where you actually learn about the recording process, how to deliver the best vocal in the recording booth, and how to release your song and make sure that it's on the radar where the radio picks it up, people pick it up.
betul.
Joy Vocal Masterclass by Voxfest Malaysia, which is happening on 17 September 2023.
For more information, look up Voxfest Malaysia. That's VOXFEST Malaysia on Facebook or Instagram.
So, Ju, are you content being happy poor?
I think I would say I am, but I wouldn't call myself poor. I wouldn't call myself necessarily rich, but everything is relative, right?
True.
Sometimes when I think of friends who say, oh, I'm very, very low this month, I don't think I've ever been at that level. Then again, I don't have, right now, I don't have those kind of, what's the word?
Financial commitment?
Yes, that kind of commitment. So it's like, you marry it, then you have your kid. They say it takes $1 million to raise a kid. I don't know.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. So I don't need to have $1 million for the kid, right? And I've never really had that kind of experience. So to say I'm poor, no, but sometimes I feel poor, right? When you go out with friends, and we talked about this before, right? And like, wow, the bill is like, woohoo, like eat this, eat that. And you're like, what? This one costs how much?
But looking back, right, this year especially, because I track my finance.
Yeah.
Right, so every day I write down how much I spend and yada. And basically I spend a lot of groceries and maybe 1 or 2 makan out, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so compared last year to this year, there's an increase of 40%. Even though I'm buying the same things. So definitely the same eggs lah, it's the same items lah, roughly around the same lah.
So it's not that you're eating out more often?
No, it's not that I'm buying more things.
So it's just inflation lah.
Inflation, correct.
Which is true so lah. Last time you eat one meal $5-6.
Correct. Now it's like $8-9.
9, which is, I'm sorry, my math's not that good, but yeah.
So this year I feel very strongly that poor part. That poor part is because, right, when inflation hit, people like me go like, I feel the pinch.
Right.
But the richer people, it's like, okay lah, normal. So it's quite, quite astonishing when my friends say, okay, let's go for breakfast at a cafe, latte, and then a bagel. Then it's 30 ringgit.
Huh?
Like,
can be. Correct. Yeah.
Bagel maybe like 12 ringgit something plus coffee, something plus tax, 30 ringgit. For me, that's a really big pinch,
So there you see, like, I went, to some people, they don't even bat an eye.
Correct.
Right?
So, imagine when I'm standing at the cafe, then I'm picking my breakfast and I end up, maybe I will just drink coffee lah, And there they are ordering a big breakfast or something, and then one person can be 40 ringgit plus.
Yeah, or they order a main plus an appetizer, then plus the dessert, plus a drink, 2 drinks, and you're like, wow.
Correct. So for the first time, I really feel that poor part. I might be happy, but then at the same point, I can tell my happiness is also tipping over to maybe not so happy now, because if it happens once when you meet for breakfast, okay. Yeah. But you cannot stop meeting people. Right? So eventually you feel catching up. So even if I don't meet people, my groceries are catching up with me in terms of price. So I start to feel like this happy poor thing might be slowly becoming sad poor for me lah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think it's also because of the industry that we're in? So we are in the gig economy lah. Now we have a name. We have a gig economy. Our own economy. I don't think we revise our prices or our rates as often as people get increments in an office, right? So
Yes,
if you're
because
working,
especially when you're self-hired, right? So
You
if
don't
you
kind
have
of
been
appraisal
charging
yourself.
correct, you've been charging people 200, 10 years later you still charge 200, there's something is wrong already lah. But the thing is, when you try to increase it because you're not in the corporate world, you feel like, am I doing too much? Like, am I increasing too much? Do you feel that, or is it just me?
I think it's a mindset. So previously we had a 4-day event. It was like training by professionals, almost like 1-to-1. And we charged 290. And that was already an increase for, previously it was significantly less. Not a lot less, but you can see there's a marked increase, right? And then I was talking to some people who, corporate background, who not into music. My thing was a music thing. And they were like, huh? You charge 290? This type of thing, you should charge $500 And they were like, so I brought it back to the team. And I said, hey, I think we're undercharging or what? No. But then, if I was going to charge $500 to a gigging musician, what I would probably get is all the rich kids coming who might or might not be serious about it.
True.
But they have the money, right? And then I'm thinking, all the people who are trying to make money out of music, with their music, with their passion, can they afford to come? So
So
again,
you see, the happy poor is thinking for the happy poor.
So it's like we increase. It could also be, I don't know. Is it a mindset of how we value money?
I don't know. I just know that now that I don't feel happy poor, maybe less happy poor,
Yeah.
I'm actually considering how to make myself happy poor again, and not not happy rich lah. Okay, because I find that I might not have the energy to go and pursue high paying whatever already lah. Listen, I'm quite happy doing what I love to do, and I don't want to change that. Okay, so now how do I tip my scale from less happy poor to happy poor again? I'm actually thinking of moving out of the city. Like so expensive everything at cafe, then I move to some country lah. At least if you go Tenom, the coffee cafe latte only 5 ringgit, I can still afford to enjoy it in that.
And what you do doesn't really matter where you are.
Correct.
If there's a project, just fly there lah.
Something like that. So yeah, that is my current thought process. I just want to ask what you think about this.
I think it makes a lot of sense. But it also depends on the type of people. Okay, so just now I said a but, right? And I say you first. So I'm going to come back to that but thought. Happy rich or happy poor, it really depends on the individual. So there was one time, so previously we had a thing on dates, right? So I was kind of dating this guy.
Okay.
And I realized that this guy, okay, so he was very into music. Like he had a band and they were like perform, and he talks to you, it's like, whoa, you perform, like really, really into music, right? But at one point on one of the dates, he's like, hey, come, I'm going to buy this car. Come with me to the showroom. At that point, when I was checking out the car with him, I realized that, hey, this guy can only be happy with a sizable amount of material wealth.
Okay.
Okay? Like, wow, that car really made him happy lah. It's like, I drive my car, I'm like, this car, that car. It's like, yeah.
Can go point A to point B.
He's slightly happier, but you could see with him, it was like, wow, this car is like, his happy level, like, like, like double lah, okay? And being able to eat in fancy restaurants, that really gave him a lot of happiness. I wouldn't say joy, but that happiness level, that being satisfied with life. And at that point, I realized, yeah, I suppose I could be happy, if he's earning the big bucks. But I personally don't need that. And it occurred to me that, so this kind of person, if he was to do my kind of job or our kind of job, would be very unhappy. Because there's always that thing irking him like, oh, I cannot have that car. Or I cannot have that lifestyle. And I know a couple of friends who are like that.
Yeah, I
So
totally get that.
it's where does that drive or that buzz come from? And I think we're all different. I think I get a bigger buzz, for example, after coaching somebody and seeing that improvement or seeing that change impacting that person, I will definitely get a lot more buzz from that to tide me over than if you were to pay me an XXXXX amount of
of
dollars.
money.
It would be nice. It would be in a bank, like, okay, so I don't have to worry about this. I can go holiday. But that satisfaction level is different from person to person lah. So I think maybe what we need to do is value what we give or what we do. So if I give consultation or you give consultation, maybe we undervalued in terms of cash.
Maybe. It makes us happy, so we forget about money.
Yeah. But yeah, coming back to your question, if it makes you happy living in a small town, then why not, right? Because the money, your buying power is so much more. Or you can plan your whole thing. You don't need to go supermarket. Then
True.
what? And then imagine if you're doing consultation, you're doing projects outside, that buying power is like somebody working in Singapore and then come out here, living in Malaysia.
Something
that
like
kind of thing lah, like that lah.
So I think at the end of the day, it's all about whether you're happy rich or you're happy poor, as long as you're happy lah.
Betul.
So yeah, everyone, have a happy day and a happy life.
Yes. And value what you give. Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by two Malaysians who are passionate about Malaysian stuff.
Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Cerita Suito and Gina Yap Layung.
Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105.
Remember to click like and subscribe for the brand new episode next week.